Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Fishing with Nordbye. Out here on Lake Guntersville today, I'm going to show you guys how to catch panfish. I'm using my favorite jig today. You guys have probably seen me throw it a ton, but these panfish love it. It's a super cheap way to catch a ton of fish. You can catch bass on this thing. This little jig right here is the deal. Black and chartreuse. I'll link it down below. 1/16 ounce head. I'll link it down below too. The Scout and I, we're out here. How you doing, Scout, huh? We're out here. We're going to try and catch them today, guys. I'm going to be catching these panfish. The reason I'm doing this is to take them back to our pond. We got a ton of bass in there. There's some big bass in there, but they're not going to stay big or stay fat if they don't have little bluegill and stuff to eat. So I'm going to show you guys what to do, how to catch these little panfish. We're going to be using a little ultralight setup today, a little 5.5 foot combo. It's my favorite one. I'll link it down below too. But just going to try to catch a bunch, take back to the pond. My limit on bluegill is 50, and I think we're going to catch some. So I'm excited. Let's get started. Alright guys, pulling up. First stop of the day. We're gonna fish this little flat right before this bluff over here. It's been pretty windy and muddy, so I don't know if they're this far out on Main Lake. Probably gonna have to move back into the creek to find them. But we're gonna cast around, see if there's any. There's one. First stop of the day. What do we got? We got this a little bluegill. Now, the limit on these is 50 a piece. And I like stocking them up for the bass in my pond, so I'm going to keep all the bluegill we catch today, as long as we don't catch 50. Little guy. Better get some water in there. There's one. Ooh, that's a decent little bluegill. Wow, that one's pretty, Scout. Look at the colors on that. The tips of the tail are bright orange. Wow, beautiful. I don't know what kind of bluegill that is. Kind of looks like a green sunfish. Kind of looks like a pumpkin seed. Man, not used to that in Missouri. That's sweet. Let's go into the pond. There's one. Little bass. Okay. Not quite what we're after. Oh my gosh, bluegill are just stacked in these trees, guys. Oh yeah. Moving up in the shallows, they're in the trees. Oh, we got something real good here, guys. Oh my gosh. Smoked the crappie jig on the end of this tree. I don't know what I got. Oh my gosh, it's a giant bass. I'm out here fishing for panfish, and I hook up with a monster bass. Oh my gosh. I gotta get my net out. Please don't get off. Watch out, Scout. Oh man. Definitely gonna need the net. Oh wow. Woo! Got the net out. He's pulling drag. He's going crazy. Thought I had me a giant crappie for a second. Oh, come on. There we go. Look at that. On the crappie jig. And you think big old bass won't eat a crappie jig? That's what I'm talking about. You catch everything on these crappie jigs. So far we've caught bass, crappie, bluegill. Look at that, giant bass. That's awesome. We're gonna let him go. See you, buddy. Wow. Well, how about that? This thing catches them all. That was nuts. Let's get another one. There we go. Something good, guys. If that's a crappie, this is another giant. Oh, come on. That can't be a crappie. There's no way. I think we got us another bass. Yep, sure do. I'll boat flip that guy. Thought I had a giant crappie on. There we go. Nice little bass. See ya. Alright guys, it just started raining on me, so I put on the rain gear. We're gonna try and stay dry and catch a few more of these fish. I'm gonna give it about another half hour. Then we're probably gonna get home. Probably have about 15 gills in the live well already. If you know what kind of bluegill those were, let me know the specific name, because I've seen them before, maybe once or twice. I have no idea what kind they are. They look like a green sunfish mixed with a pumpkin seed mixed with the normal sunfish, so I don't know. Let me know. But we're gonna try to catch some more. They ought to be good for the pond, because they're not the green sunfish, the super aggressive ones with big mouths that eat everything. But we're gonna get back to fishing. Let's go. Giant. Watch out. Oh my goodness. Smoked it. Little spotted bass right up against the rocks there. So far the bass are crushing this little jig. Wow. Sweet. So close to that too. See if there's another one. What do we got? Something decent. Another bass, another bass. Bass are hanging out on these bluffs. That's a spot right there. Another spotted bass. Okay. Okay. Those are fun to catch. Little crappie jig does it all. Oh my gosh. Big old beaver or something just made a commotion over there. That was crazy. That scared me. There we go. Hooked up right out in front of this dock. Tiny little bluegill. That one's perfect, man. Put him on a hook, cast him out for a bass. That's a real good one. Had to switch it up to the bobber and tiny little jig in this spot. I'll link this one down below too, but there's just too much grass here, so I had to put the little cork on and then a 1/32 ounce jig instead of that 1/16 ounce. They like that little guy. Also switched it up to a little white sparkle, just what I had on this pole, and it catches them, let me tell you. Oh, there we go. Got me a bluegill. All I've been catching is bluegill.
I've been fishing a jerkbait here and haven't had any luck on the bucket switch.
Oh, there we go. Hooked up. Little fighter. Yep, that's a fat bluegill. All right. Yeah. Take that. In the live well it goes. Just getting home. I got my bucket here, put some water in it. We're gonna get these fish out of the live well, take them to the pond, release them. It's gonna be some good bait fish for these bass to feed on. Recommend doing that if you have a pond. It's important to keep it stocked up bait fish that these bass can feed on. So I'm scooping them out of the live well here. Look at that. 3 good sized gills. First scoop, we're gonna take them to the pond. Just dumped the gills in the pond. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I want to share a little something with you guys, and I want to talk about complaining today. What is complaining? Complaining is the expression of dissatisfaction or annoyance about something. So do you know somebody who complains a ton? They're not that fun to be around. Or do you complain a ton? God hates complaining. And I want to share a few verses with you guys and show you a little bit more about complaining. Numbers 11:1 says, "Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp." So he did not like the Israelites complaining after he brought them out of Egypt. Numbers 21:4-9 also says, "They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom, but the people grew impatient on the way." How often do we grow impatient of things? "They spoke against God and against Moses and said, 'Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food.' Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, 'We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us.' So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, 'Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live.' So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived." That's crazy. So the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. God brought them out of Egypt. God was giving them manna from heaven. So heavenly bread they were being fed by, but they just got tired of eating it. Do you guys get tired of eating the same thing over and over every day? How often do you complain about things? It doesn't really matter your situation, how wealthy or poor you are. Complaining is a sickness that can live inside of you, and if you constantly complain, that's terrible. It's a sin. So we choose our attitudes. God had provided everything the Israelites were complaining about. God will hold us accountable of our complaining. So my question to you guys, how can we complain so much after all the Lord has done for us? We all drop the ball at times, but what attitude do we choose when we drop the ball? That's a big one. If you mess up or if somebody else messes up, what's your attitude towards them about that? Do you complain? Attitudes are patterns of thinking. They are habits formed over long periods of time. The only way you can change your attitude is to admit where you are wrong. Complaining is a sin, guys. We're putting ourselves in place of God, and that's why we complain, because we think we have a right for whatever we're complaining about to be changed or be how we think it should be instead of how it is, how God has it. So complaining, when you complain, you hurt yourself. It leads to bitterness. It leads to dissatisfaction. You'll possess what you are declaring over your life. So if you're constantly complaining about stuff, more stuff like that's going to happen. If you declare good things over your life, better things are going to happen. So you don't want to complain. You don't want to lead to a dissatisfied life. You don't want to lead to a bitter life. There's a song by Andy Mineo. I'll play it real quick. It says, "I don't want to be bitter." And he's talking about how his dad hurt him when he was young growing up, but he doesn't want to be bitter towards his dad anymore.
I don't want to be bitter, bitter, bitter. Yeah, I don't want to be bitter, bitter.
We can choose to be bitter about things in our life, or we can choose to think positive about them and pray. And if it's something that hurts us, give it to the Lord. Let Him take care of the situation. So when you complain, you're actually hurting God by not trusting Him. Complaining questions His plans and purposes for your life. And you're also hurting others when you complain, especially if they're around. A couple more verses. 1 Peter 4:9-10 says, "Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." John 16:33 says, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." So we've overcome the world, guys. When we complain, we forfeit the grace of God that could help us through it. Your faith will help you grow through adversity. I just want to encourage you, don't complain. Don't complain. This week, when something goes wrong, don't complain. When something doesn't go your way, try not complaining. Try thinking about the positive things, the things we've been blessed with, the things we can be thankful for, and you'll be surprised how much better of a day you'll have when you quit complaining. This life is too short for us to complain all the time and have an attitude of bitterness and dissatisfaction. So I hope that encourages you today as you go out. If you catch yourself complaining, stop right there and think, Lord, I don't want to complain. Thank you for all you blessed me with, because He will change your mindset and your attitude and your focus. So I hope that encourages you guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you subscribe for more videos here on Fishing with Nordbye. We got a ton coming at you. I could have complained today about the fishing because all I caught were bluegill. I did catch a couple cool bass, got one big one, but I could have complained because I was hoping to catch my limit of bluegill, 50 bluegill, take them back to the pond. I was hoping to catch crappie too. I didn't catch a single crappie, but I could complain about that. Or I could say, wow, I caught a bunch of fish today. I was blessed to be out on the lake. Caught a giant bass. What a good day. It was a great day, guys. So hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button for me. Let me know if you liked it in the comments down below. And remember, if you're interested in supporting my YouTube channel, you can do that. You can become a patron. I'll link that down below. And we'll catch you next time here on Fishing with Nordbye. God bless.